Oh, God. Oh, dear. Here we are. Jolly good. Hello, darlings, and the warmest of welcomes to me not turning the volume down. The warmest of welcomes to Monday Night Live, and me and Windy Bum and my immense hangover, which is going to kill me if I don't go to bed soon. Dear, oh dear. How are you, darlings? And of course, I was live this afternoon with Mustard, but that was kind of a different thing. So, how was your weekend? How has your Monday been? How are you all doing? And please just chat amongst yourselves so that I don't have to talk because this hangover is of epic proportions and it just hasn't gone away. I've gone through the painy bit, I've gone through the shaky bit, and now I'm in the just dog tired and need to go to bed bit. Dear oh dear. Trace is here. Good evening, Trace. Pingu, jolly good. Jimmy Quinn, good evening to you. Bad Books, the lovely Mark Cheeseburger. Bless him. Yeah, vodka hangover. Yeah, it wasn't my fault. Trisha Alderman, a jolly good evening to you. Oh, God. I haven't got the energy. Joe, Cars with JC. Good evening, Joe. Well done on fitting the new battery to MJ. A splendid Bosch fellow. Looks absolutely marvellous. Nice work with um, the old twisty fucking socket thing. I don't know. I don't care. Good evening, Jazz Brown. Hi, Boaty. Hope you're well. No, I'm really not. I was in Norwich, says Grace, seeing family this weekend. The drives were awful because of stupid drivers. In the rain, accidents galore, and backing up traffic. 3 hours turned into 5. Of course, I watched your video, Joe. I watch all of your videos. You're welcome. I enjoyed your real videos. That set of 3. I particularly enjoyed the first one. I thought that was jolly good. Very good vlog style videos. Now, Joe, when it comes to videos, would you prefer just tactful, friendly praise or constructive criticism? Let me know before I say the wrong thing and upset you. Ugh. Now, I'm not necessarily going to imbibe this tonight, but I will prepare it just in case. It tastes nicer out of a posh Grey Goose bottle. Oh, shit it out. That was a waste, wasn't it? Uh, God, I've just seen how much there is in the. Oh, I really did go over the top last night. What a waste of lovely vodka. Oh, this is just water, by the way. Hello, all, says Barry. Hope you're okay. Boaty's World, sponsored by Hangover. You're not kidding. I really enjoyed making those videos, says Joe. Good, good. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, no point in doing it. The worst hangover I ever had, says Bad Books, was 5 pints of lager, a couple of glasses of wine, followed by a full bottle of Taboo, rough as a badger's arse at a trade show the next day. The worst hangover I've ever had was when Richard had his firstborn, Holly, and we drank literally pints of the most excellent champagne at the pub. The pub in Lapworth. What's it called? The Boot? The Boot at Lapworth. It was our Thursday night pub. And we went there to wet the baby's head. And the high that you get from excessively drinking champagne is second to none. But the hangover is the worst ever. It leaves you feeling like a chamois leather that's been left out in the sun to dry. Talk about dehydrated. Constructive criticism is always appreciated, says Joe. Right, here is my constructive criticism. I mean, it's a bit of a cheek. Somebody who can't make a decent video themselves giving somebody else constructive criticism, but there you go. Right, a few people said that your editing was really good, and it was. But I think you just need to tidy it up just a little bit. In that, especially in that first video, I noticed it. There were a lot of sentences where the last word of the sentence or part of the last word of the sentence was clipped out. So it just sounds kind of wrong. Try using, as you edit and as you cut and splice the footage together, try using fades rather than absolutes so that the picture will blend, but the sound continues, if that makes any sense. And that way, even as the picture fades out, the audio will continue. So you'll keep getting that last word in. There were quite a few. If it was just one or two, I wouldn't have noticed it. But there were quite a few where when you were editing from one scene to another, the last word just got cut out. So it was like, I don't know, if the sentence you were going to say was, how are you this morning, Joe? Then it was, how are you this morning, and then it cut and jumped. Otherwise, brilliant. I really enjoyed them. Because you're going to get constructive criticism whether you like it or not, Joe. No, I wouldn't have. Barry sent some of us lovely people an email with a book cover and he hopes we like it. Cheeseburger. No, I don't think his videos are shit. I thought they were, especially that first one, I thought it was really, really good, actually. I genuinely enjoyed it. I didn't just watch it once. I watched it 2 or 3 times. Oh, God. Speaking is such an effort. Beware all, there's a mega hangover about to be had. He dogged his on the vodka. No, I'm not touching it. I had a glass of wine earlier at about 7 o'clock, and that just made me super sleepy. So I daren't touch anymore. 11 o'clock, I might have a vodka and tonic or a glass of wine, and I'll get my old ass off to bed at a decent time tonight. God knows I need it. I've been stupendously unproductive this evening. I planned to do all of these things, and I did try, and I just couldn't get into doing any of them. I tried to do some merch and completely failed. Don't know where I'm going wrong with that website. And I tried to start building the Boaty's World website, and went on to my GoDaddy account where I host my other websites and that host my domain names and whatnot. and found out that I've already started the website 3 times. And so there are 3 kind of started websites that have not gone anywhere. And so I thought, right, before I start doing it properly, I'll get rid of the 3, false started ones. And it took so long to figure out how to get rid of those. They don't make it easy to delete stuff. You have to find the secret area and press the secret button, and then you have to press another secret button, and then it sends you an email saying, look, you appear to be trying to delete something. Surely you don't actually want to do this. But if you really do want to do this, and I don't think you do, you need to press this button on the email. So you press that button on your email, that sends you back to an even more secret part of the website where it says, you can never bring this back. If you do this, that's it, finished. It's gone. You'll never see it again. I can't imagine that you want to do this, but if you really, really do, scroll down the page and press the hidden, fucking hell. So by the time I got rid of the 3 websites that have been started, I was in no mood, quite frankly, to start another one. So that hasn't happened. I thought I'll go back and I'll get at least 1 piece of merch up. I thought I'll just do a beanie hat with Boaty's World on it, and I'll get that done. And I completely failed, darlings. So I got absolutely nothing done. So I went into singles instead and put a couple of posts in there to try and get a bit of conversation going. Oh, and I found a very attractive woman who's totally out of my league in singles. I hadn't seen a comment. Well, she hadn't commented before, but there we are. I thought he was dogging this afternoon. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh, Jimmy still feels like crap. That's a shame. Bad luck, Jimmy. Ah, yes, cheeseburger. My worst hangover was a bottle of port. Never again. Now, I can't drink port for the same reason I can't drink red wine, but I am reliably informed by those who know that it does give you the worst hangover going. The Boot, yes, the Boot at Lapworth, that was the one. Port and brandy is lovely, says Jimmy. Barry says the worst ever hangover for me was a student. Oh, I'm getting all shaky and cold. I've got the heating up to 21 degrees and I'm still freezing my tits off. Oh, God, never again. Never again. Ah, dear. It was just one of those nights where you don't realize what you're doing. Like I said, for those who didn't watch the live this afternoon, I was being a good boy. I was doing all of the normal things. I just about reached the stage of the evening. It was just gone 1 o'clock, I think, where I was just about to eat, go to bed. I got things ready for this morning. So obviously, big day today, blah, blah, blah. And Boo pinged me out of the blue. And that was it. So chatty. Stayed awake far too long. And of course, you just, you're there, you're typing, you're reading, you're chatting. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever. You just take a drink without thinking about it. And next thing you know, I go to get up and I'm absolutely drunk as a skunk. I was too drunk, and you won't hear me say this very often. I was too drunk to cook. I didn't actually cook last night. And you know me, I'm the best drunk cook since Keith Floyd. Too drunk. I made a ham sandwich and had it with, oh God, this is how badly the night went. Right. I bought the other day I like to have emergency ham in the fridge, an emergency loaf of bread in the freezer, just bog basic white sliced, and a multi-pack of crisps in the cupboard. And that's absolute emergency food. And I remembered I had this. I thought, right, I'll make a ham sandwich, ham and tomato sandwich with mustard and black pepper, and have it with a packet of crisps. And because that awful drunk thing, that I just put it in a bowl, as you do, with some pickled onions and a packet of crisps. And of course, drunk, late night, munches. I ate 5 of the multi-pack of 6 crisp packets. And then I ate number 6 tonight at about 7 o'clock with my glass of wine. So that's why I can't have things like that in the house, because, oh, you end up bloody 5 packets of crisps. I mean, I did only have a sandwich, my main evening meal. And then I presume I wobbled upstairs and went to bed. I've got absolutely no memory of it. And then this morning, I planned to get up at 8:30. I had a list of things I wanted to get done before mustard came at 11. And I woke up, thought, oh, hell, I don't feel too good. It must be like 7:30, not 8:30, because I feel as if I haven't had enough sleep. Reached over for my iPad, looked at it, pressed the button, 11:15. The fucking hell. Wobbled downstairs to discover that I was horrendously hungover. Fortunately, mustard was about 40 minutes late, thank God. So I had a chance to get a couple of cups of coffee and a pint of water down and a slice of toast. Oh, God above. And then, funnily enough, to begin with, I was okay. I was on good form. We had a race. We took Sheeson to the restaurant. He was driving Barney. I was driving Sheeson. Excuse me. And I was feeling really puckish. So we had a bit of a race. I told him he wouldn't be able to keep up with Sheeson. He's always saying that, oh, this would be quicker than Sheeson, that would be quicker than Sheeson. So, and I was feeling really quite good at this point. So I took off like a bat out of hell. You can't see anything on my film, but I bet Mustard was filming, and I'm sure he had a few things. I mean, he'll say he wasn't trying to keep up and this, that, and the other. It's bollocks. I left him for dead. Had to sit and wait for him for about 10 minutes. So that was all grand. But then and then we went to Derby, to a very nice part of Derby, if that's not a contradiction in terms. And we bought a car, left Sheeson at the restaurant, went to Derby, bought a car, and then so we're coming back in 2 cars. Mustard's in the new car, I'm in Barney. And by that point, I really wasn't feeling so good. And by the time we got back here, I was feeling bloody awful. Absolutely bloody awful. And then I went through all of the hangover phases you go through, the shaky bit, the coldy bit. And now, as I say, I'm in the, just so tired bit. Oh, does anybody else, do you get, oh no, I can't talk about that, can I? Do you find that when you're hungover, which means that you've consumed excessively, do you find that you need excessive toileting, but number 2 is not? I've been about 4 times today. Absolutely crazy. Oh dear. So it's been one of those days, but we did kind of tick the boxes of everything that we needed to get done. Oh, excuse me. Worst hangover for me, says Trace, Perno. Full stop. No need to continue. Oh dear. Bad Book says, Jimmy, port and brandy makes me remember another bad hangover. Stephen Wilson, hey again from a rover lover in Gibraltar. Even though I drive a Merc and the bloody thing broke down this morning, I miss my trusty 75 V6. Barry says, I know someone who drank a pint of vodka and had to have his stomach pumped. That was pretty grim. Neil, aka the Gibbinator. Evening all, how we do? How are you doing, Neil? You've been all absent and I actually messaged Joe and said, are you and Soph okay? You've gone all quiet. So hope you're okay, mate. Oh dear. I do like a port, Jimmy, says Trace. I think I need a Jimmy special now. Port and brandy. Hi, Tracy. Power to the people, says Pingu. Um, oh, you're very welcome, Joe. You're very welcome. I genuinely did love those videos. Uh, keep going with those. That style, that relaxed conversational vlog style, it really suits you. You do it very, very well. That the first video especially, I really did enjoy it. I thought the early morning stuff as you set off, I thought that was great. Uh, really did set the scene. And good to see you experimenting with the GoPro as well and doing all of the posh driving shots that I can't do. Okay, I did wonder about that, Neil. I did wonder about that. Thanks for the ping, by the way. Yeah, yeah. I thought that was probably going to be something to do with it. Oh, and you got your ZTD motted today. Well done. Well done. Good old. Oh God, my hangover won't let me remember the name of that car. Now, come on. I know this. I know this. Um, I'm sorry, mate. I mean, it's rotten situation. Rotten situation. But it'll all come out in the wash. Hopefully, it'll all get sorted. We need the Tooth story again, please, Boaty, for the people who weren't here earlier. Oh God, you want to relive my? Oh, so there I am with. I staggered downstairs this morning with my hangover. Um, made made a slice of toast, made the coffee, got got some painkillers, and sat down with my coffee and my toast. Oh God, here we go. Had a sip of coffee, had a slice of toast, and a tooth fell out. I lost another one. I mean, it was, you know, it was well and truly on its way. If you remember, I had two teeth in the space where there should only be one, front and center, bottom jaw, and the one at the front came out. I don't know, a month or two ago, didn't it? And so for the first time in my life, my bottom teeth were normal and looked fine, except that the other one was also bloody loose as well. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to hang on to this. Well, sure enough, this morning, out it popped. And then the next one to go will be the sticky outy one up at the top. That's well and truly loose. And then hopefully that will be it for a few months before I lose it. I really need to try to get into a poor person's dentist, whatever they call them. So at so in the interim, until I can afford to go to Turkey or wherever and get some implants, at least I could get some nice, whatever you call them. I don't know, what dentures or falsies or whatever they're called these days. I mean, I don't give a shit that it makes me look as ugly as hell. I'm too old for looking attractive to the opposite sex anyway. I don't give a toss about that. But I can't speak properly. And without the teeth there as that barrier, you spit. And I'm lisping. I can't pronounce my S's and I don't like it. So yeah, I would like some I'd like some nice false teeth, but I don't know how to go about it. I don't know how to get a bloody dentist or anything. And I certainly can't afford it at the moment. Anyway, there we are. There you go. That's the tough story again. Skick says, does there have to be lust in a relationship? No, there doesn't, Skick. I have an excellent relationship with Captain Mustard, and there is absolutely no lust there whatsoever. Well, not that I'm aware of, anyway. Um, so, no, a relationship doesn't have to have lust. You can have a family relationship, you can have a friendly relationship. None of these things have to have lust. I mean, if you're talking about a romantic relationship, then again, they can survive without the lust element, especially when you're older. You know, it's not uncommon as you get older to lose your libido, and relationships can survive. Uh, if drinking made me feel that rough, says Cheeseburger, I wouldn't bother. Yeah, well, it doesn't normally, does it? It doesn't. It's just that last night, for a very specific set of circumstances, I overdid it a bit. And the funny thing is that, I mean, I know how much I drank last night. I mean, if I didn't know at the time, you can work it out by what's left in the bottle. And this is kind of telling that the amount that I drank last night was less than I would normally drink back in the day when I was properly caning it. It's just, I'm just not used to it now. So, yeah, God, that tells you what I must have been like back in the bloody day when I really was going at it. No booty call tonight, says Pingu. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not talking to anybody tonight. I haven't even looked at the messages from last night. I daren't. God almighty. I've got a vague idea of what I said, but dear me. I don't want to be reminded of it. Not until I've had a vodka anyway. It helps, says Trace, talking about lust, but it's not essential. Depends what you both want from a relationship. Fair enough. 35 years ago, says Jimmy, the worst hangover, 1 litre, Jesus Christ, 1 litre of Jack Daniels and Coke, never again. Went right through my driveway gates. Oh dear. Dan Peters says, hello, Mr. Boaty, sir. I join you on this Monday Night Live. You do indeed, Dan. I'm very welcome you are too. How has your weekend been, may I ask? Oh, gosh. Well, now let's try and think. My weekend, it was all right. Restaurant was busy. And I kind of didn't do much else other than a couple of dodgy videos. I didn't do anything memorable over the weekend, I don't think. God, I can't remember now. No, I don't think so. I think I just potted about and went to work. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did because I was tired from the week, wasn't I? So uneventful, but perfectly pleasant. But the restaurant was crazy. Absolutely crazy, especially Saturday night. Bloody hell, it was busy. Dear, oh dear. How was your weekend, Dan? Hope you had a good one. Lord Stiff Upper Lip is here, says hello, sir, and a jolly nice big hello to you too. Dan is going to buy some brandy and whiskey for Christmas and Boxing Day. Why not? Why not? Remember Mad Dog 2020, says Skick? I don't actually. What happened to James Boaty Bond? Asked Pingu. I don't get that. James Boaty Bond. What, you mean wearing a jacket? Well, restaurant's closed. I haven't been to work, have I? We close on a Monday, so I don't need to dress up. I'm in my slops, if that's what you mean. Believe it or not, darlings, and no offence, I don't put a suit on to talk to you. I just happen to be wearing one because I've been to work. But Monday, no work, so just in scabby stuff. Do you want to know about the new car? I'll tell you about that in a bit. Neil says, the worst hangover I ever had was 2 Cuban cigars, a bottle of wine, and half a bottle of port. Moral of the story is when you're in Spain and it's all inclusive, doesn't mean you should do it. Video titles from Cheeseburger. Never again, where's that vodka? Or my worst hangover ever was ... I didn't chuck up out. God. A good early title contender there, says Trace. It is indeed. And I will screenshot it. More like James May tonight. Well, nothing wrong with being like James May. I like James May. I do like James May. I would love to spend a day or an evening with. I'd love to have James May for the lunch video. Actually, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I mean, I suppose Clarkson's kind of my favourite because he's such a big bombastic twat. But James May, I mean, what a proper chap. I mean, he's a proper chap, isn't he? Old school proper chap. He likes pies and beer and cars. And that's proper. And he's got good taste in cars as well. There you go. There's a feature. Who is your favourite Top Gear presenter ever? Or did we do that the other night when Top Gear was axed? I do feel like Captain Slow. Yeah, I am Captain Slow today. Dan says, Saturday I didn't feel too good. I met up with my son. Had a lovely day. Cost a fortune as always. Oh, well, that's good. Glad you had a good day with him. In years to come, says Skick, people will talk and be amazed that we had big buildings selling a dangerous drug to anyone over 18. Yeah. When you put it like that, you have to be 14 round by me, says Cheeseburger. Just like the way I drive stick, but okay. Alcohol, says Trace, is all about taxes and population control, innit? Population control, that's condoms, isn't it? Or the pill, a contraceptive female pill. Oh, did anybody hear on the news today that they're, I can't remember who it was, but they're producing the contraceptive pill now, or they're planning to. They're producing it in cream bun form, apparently. The idea being that you can have your cake and eat it. Or another video title, actually a song lyric from Cheeseburger. Last time I was sober, man, I felt bad. We'll screenshot that one too. Toileting excessively, says Trace. Yes, alcohol irritates the entire gut system. Dan has a question. If I may. What curry would you consider spicy? You asked me this before, Dan. I can't remember what I said. I think I spoke about the difference in spices between a properly made, properly put together, authentic curry, where the spice heat is built in flavors, and an Indian takeaway type curry where it's just pure chili flake and nothing else. What curry would I consider spicy? Well, I'd consider those bloody noodles that we had this afternoon spicy. Don't know about curry. God above. I mean, I know mustard put a brave face on it, but oh, they are killers. If anybody wants some, by the way, I can get them for you. If you want to take the noodle challenge, and if you do take it, film yourself doing it and put it in the Facebook group. That ham sandwich gave you the squits, Boaty. Yeah, that's it. It was the ham sandwich that did it. Oh dear. Oh, there you go. And Cheeseburger's picked up on the noodles. I was half dead that morning, says Joe, when I was filming the first video. I was like a zombie. Well, you would be at that time. Nothing from John yet. I know his op was at 1 p.m. today, from what you said earlier. Yeah, no, not heard anything. No updates there. So fingers crossed, touch wood, hope all is well. Dentistry with Boaty, says Barry. We don't need anaesthetic on this channel. Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. How do I get around that without an anaesthetic? when I do get my implants, it's going to have to be without an anaesthetic. And I imagine that might be a little bit painful. Or maybe anesthesiology has moved on and maybe I can have an anaesthetic these days. Maybe I'm a bit out of touch. I'll have to find out, I suppose. Your turkey teeth will be cheap, says Cheeseburger. They won't have to extract any. Well, that's... Yeah, every cloud has a silver lining, Cheesy. Stephen Wilson is off to watch some Boaty winter road trip vid. Good night. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed that video very much. Yeah, I enjoyed everything about it. I enjoyed filming it, I enjoyed editing it, and I've enjoyed watching it back. He's going to come back from Turkey looking like a damn piano, says Neil. Oh, yeah, the full Hollywood thing. I told you. And when I get them done, I'm going to host an American-style, proper, cheesy... well, I told you, I'm going to take on a new personality, Dirk Wagler, and I'm going to launch a podcast or live stream called A Problem Shared is a Trouble Doubled with Dirk Wagler, where people, you know, come in with their problems and I give them, well, abuse, basically. Oh, Cheeseburger, I haven't even thought about this. Would you take your false teeth out to Podger? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the correct protocol is. Oh dear. He'll polish them with autoglim. Yep, you can see him doing that. God. And a bit of cutting compound. Might need to clay bar them first. Dear God. I think my favourite person of Top Gear, says Dan, would be Clarkson, followed by May, then Hammond. I think a lot of people would go for that. Bad Book says James May has a hydrogen-powered Toyota and his garage looks like one floor of a multi-storey car park. Lucky sod. That's all right, Dan. Don't you worry about it. Only James May can afford the ULEZ on those, says Cheeseburger. Those noodles are bloody hot. I had some once at work and they are savage. Bad Book says, Boaty, you've picked up from your hangover very well. Life in the old dog yet. Doesn't feel that way. Unfortunately, I'm off, says Joe. Night all, I've got to be up for 1 a.m. 1 a.m. 1 a.m. Sorry, no. I'm off up country again. Oh, well. Safe travels, Joe. Look forward to a video on it. Oh, dear. Be careful on that vodka sauce, says Pingu. You might end up proposing to Mustard and moving to Rochdale. There are parts around Mustard where I would be very happy to live. Certainly where Senior Mustard lives is lovely. Trey says, my brother has extractions and root canals without anaesthetic. I can ask if you're interested. Bad Book says, local anaesthetic injections for your teeth, but I couldn't have that. Don't know if I can now, but I certainly couldn't back in the day. I'm not reading that one out. Cheeseburger. Boaty's World, now sponsored by Hollywood Smile. Not yet, but one day. Years ago, you could get your teeth made out of wood. I'd settle for that. I'd settle for that if anybody got, especially if they were free. I wouldn't mind wooden teeth. Oh, and that's it. I've caught up with the comments, so now I can go to sleep. I've been looking at cars again on eBay, says Dan, as I would like a late 1980s or 1990s modern classic car. Oh, buy one of ours, Dan. We've got enough knocking about. Have one of those. Have that red 600. That deserves a good home and a bit of love. Although I think that's parked up in the lower lockup now, isn't it? Which means it'll probably never come out again. Whatever goes into that lower lockup at the Yard of Dreams, it will never come out again. Some old heap of car will be shoved in front of that door and they'll stay in there until they're discovered in about 200 years' time. And somebody will do a barn find video on them on YouTube. Wine, 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 wine o'clock. Don't freeze it. In it. Oh, it's nerve blocking nowadays rather than local anaesthetic. Oh, okay, that's interesting. As I say, I'm well and truly out of touch. I don't have a lot to spend. I will be honest, says Dan, as Christmas is soon approaching, but I would consider the right card at the right price. Johnny Smith will find the 600, says Cheeseburger. I don't know who Johnny Smith is. I need to watch more YouTube channels, don't I? Because half the time I don't know who you lot are going on about when you mention somebody or other. Oh, have I got any? Oh, I've got a bit. Oh, I'll have to make do with that. Oh dear. Ooh. The Momo were good this afternoon anyway. Haven't had Momo for a while. They were very nice. No hangover was going to stop me enjoying those. And the chutney was excellent. Oh, and just a reminder, you lot, if any of you would like to try Momo and Momo chutney, if you never have done, you are more than welcome to buy some from me, but you'll have to collect them either from here or from the restaurant because I don't think they'll post too easily. Neil knows where there is a nice ZT18 turbo. Yeah, I want to see that. Neil. Although I probably don't want to see it because then I'll probably want to own it because it's the right color, isn't it? And that's dangerous. You can't show me a silver car. Oh, Barney is back. Sheeson is at the restaurant now. And so, as I mentioned, I plan to have a contingency car at the restaurant in case of emergencies. And that means Barney is back in pole position outside. And Barney has bounced to and fro this place so many times that, and especially with Brian looking likely to be laid up for a little while, yeah, I think I'll just hang on to Barney. I might as well just absorb him into the fleet. I am very fond of him. So I might do a few bits and pieces to young Barney. He definitely needs a new battery. I'll stick one more charge in him, but I think the battery is shot. I think it needs. It hasn't gone flat. It hasn't gone flat, and he hasn't failed to start yet. But it's very obviously on its last legs. So, yeah, when I get a few quid, I'm really hurting for money at the moment. By my standards, last week was kind of an expensive week for me, and I'm paying for it this week. Except if you get what I mean, except I'm not paying for it, so I'm skint. But I will invest in a battery when I get a couple of bob together. And what else? What else does young Barney need? Not much else actually. He's quite a decent thing. Yeah, just the battery. I enjoyed driving him today. Why do men get to a certain age and then need to rattle hands against their belly? Asks Tracy. I don't know, love. I've got no idea. Bad Book says the 1960 Mini was cool and that 72 Scimitar was nice but beyond repair. Oh, what are we talking about now? Oh, I don't know what we're talking about there. Dan says the best classic I ever had was an Austin Mini. Oh, bless you. Oh, thank you, Neil. I suppose January isn't all that far away now, is it? God, we're well into December, aren't we? We're into double figures. It's the 11th of December, darlings. And that means, now then, if you haven't seen the Daily Diary, yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of my channel becoming monetized. 1 year ago yesterday, I hit the 1,000 subscribers. Gosh, what a year it's been. So it's December the 11th. So that means that we're only 10 days away, darlings, from the winter solstice and the shortest day. So in 10 days' time, the days are going to be going in the right direction. And my thoughts are already turning to spring. And every year I promise myself I'm going to make the most of spring and summer. And I never end up doing it. And then before you know it, it's winter again. It happens every year. Next year, I'm determined it's going to be different. I'm going to make the most of every day because too many people have died. And so if I'm blessed to have another spring and summer, then I am going to make the absolute most of it. And I'm going to spend a lot of time in Llandudno. That's what I'm going to do. And I need to go to Barmouth. And I need to go home. No. So it's a year since I was monetized. And on the 1st of January, it'll be 2 years since I did my first ever video. 2 years, believe it or not. I mean, I wasn't doing YouTube seriously for a while, but it is 2 years since that first video, such as it was. It was only about 7 seconds of crap. And then it's going to be my birthday. So I was thinking I should do a little thing to celebrate. And I was wondering what to do. And I thought I should go home. I've been threatening to do it for ages. Go home to South Wales, have a Monday night overnight, show you around where I come from, drive up the Beacon, show you the Penrue, do the drive up the Penrue, show you my old cottage, such as it is, and do all of that sort of thing. And I would like to do that, but and then I thought, sod it, just go back to Rill. Go back to Rill. It's easier. Maybe that's more of a spring and summer thing, going home when you've got longer days, so that I can really make the most of it and spend the evening in the Beacons and really get the most out of the time being there. So yeah, maybe that should be like a May thing, sometime in May. But I would like to do a little something for my birthday and the 2 year anniversary. Oh, and also at about that time, it's going to be coming up to my 1,000th video. I've been busy, haven't I? Been doing this seriously for about, or semi-seriously, for about 18 months, and managed to, well, I'm knocking on for 1,000 videos. So that's quite a milestone. Hobnut's been doing it 10 years and he's only done 1,500. I'm catching him up at a right old rate of knots. Admittedly, all of mine is shit, but there you go. We're talking about, excellent. A question from Dan Peters. I like his questions. A question, if I may. Is the Ford Transit camper van in the yard for sale, or is that someone else's? As I'm not sure and might be interested. No, that belongs to the chap next door. That's his old camper, and he's also got the Mercedes camper. And he uses the Mercedes, and the Transit is being slowly but steadily recommissioned. So, no, as far as I'm aware, it's not for sale. I would have been interested too if it was. I would love a camper van. I would absolutely love a camper van. And part of me has always thought that when I get enough of a fleet around me, I'll flog the lot of them and buy a camper van and have adventures in that. But, time isn't looking great for that, is it? I mean, time is a problem now anyway. And if you throw in the flat and the Airbnb thing, then I'm well and truly going to be tied down. Cheeseburger answers Trace, who was asking about why men get to a certain age and start doing that. And Cheeseburger says it's because when they reach that age, they can't see their Podger. 11th of December, goes on Cheeseburger. Mrs. Cheeseburger is 48 tomorrow. I'd better buy her some coal. Oh, you bugger. Count me in for Barmouth trip, says Neil. Love it there. It's mine and Sophie's happy place. I've never been, Neil, but I'm a member of a Facebook group and it looks lovely. And I'm desperate to do the Cambrian railway line, which obviously takes in Barmouth and goes over that stunning bridge, or not at the moment. I think it's still closed, isn't it? And it looks a fabulous place. I would like to head down that coast. I've not done the west coast of Wales all that much. Hardly at all, really. Probably when I was a kid with my grandparents, but not as an adult. So I'd love to explore down there a bit more. Oh, and Dan has subscribed to Cars with JC. He'll be very glad about that. So you weren't doing YouTube seriously 2 years ago then, says Cheeseburger. No change there then. Fair comment. I drove to Wales to see family a few months ago. I saw my aunt's old farmhouse and land, and it brought back so many memories. Oh, that's nice, Dan. That has to be a video title one day. All my videos are shit. I'll screenshot that. Bad Book says, you doing YouTube 2 years. Just seems like yesterday. And you know what a bloody awful day yesterday was. It is mad that it's 2 years. I mean, the first year, I did that. I genuinely can't remember how it all started, why I did it. I do. I did remember, didn't I? And I told you. It was because I found the editing software to do that thing of mine and Bernard's date in Talica. So Chinese Madam had buggered off in the September. I say buggered off, I mean, I buggered her off. And then I just did that on that New Year's Day. I just did that video, should you buy a fake, that the Honourable H.J. Rover had annoyed me for some reason. And I just recorded that thing and put it up. Should you buy a facelift Rover 45? No, they're shit. And that was that. And then on about the 3rd, I think, I had to go and collect Shisun. Because, of course, Shisun was Chinese Madam's car, not mine. And she took it when she went, and she went to Liverpool. And then she moved house in the end of December or the January and lost her parking space. And she wasn't really using Shisun, and she didn't want to pay for parking for him, because this is right in the middle of the city, right in the middle of Liverpool. And then she went off to Greece on holiday and left the door open on the car, came back to a flat battery, advertised it for sale, asking $2,000, the cheeky guy, but she didn't know how to charge the battery or jump start it or anything like that. So she couldn't sell it. And she asked if the one and only time she spoke to me after I booted her out was to ask if I would help out with Shisun, help trying to sell it or whatever. And I said, yeah, no problem. I'll come and pick it up. And it was at her old house. So I didn't see her when I went. I got the train over to Liverpool. That was a nightmare of a journey. So got to her old house. Shisun was there. The keys and all the paperwork were there and everything. Massive amount of paperwork with Shisun. He's got the most amazing history you've ever seen, right from day one. It's like that thick. Had a fortune spent on it. Been in the same family from new. So obviously I couldn't take a battery or a jump. I mean, nowadays I could do. Nowadays, traveling on the train, I could have just put the Top Don JS 1200 in my rucksack and taken that and started him no problem at all. But I didn't have one back then. So I got there. I had to walk from the bloody train station. It was freezing cold, freezing cold. Then I had to sit in the freezing cold car waiting for the AA to come and get me started. And then I had to drive home with no heater because the heater was stuck on full cold. And I didn't video any of the trip because I didn't have a mount or anything. I wasn't even thinking about doing it seriously. But when I got it back, I did a couple of videos and shoved those up and just gradually started doing some bits. And then I bought a windscreen mount and just got into it more and more. Oh, and obviously I decided to keep Sheeson for myself, you know, what with it being the right color. And I didn't drive him that much when I didn't really know anything about him, particularly when Chinese Madam had him. But when I brought him back, I started doing a bit of research and I realized that this is actually quite a rare car. And I just kind of fell in love with him, really. Them, they're non-binary, and I keep forgetting, not him. I fell in love with them. That's what I did. And yeah, so it'll be coming up to my 2-year anniversary with Sheeson soon. So that's going to be, so I guess that makes him the longest serving member of the fleet now that HJ has gone. Because on the MG Rover fleet, before Sheeson, I had 8. The first one was Sir Arnold, and then there was the Honourable HJ. They're both gone now, so Sheeson is the longest serving. Followed by Stigma. So it'll be coming up to the 2-year anniversary with of having Sheeson first soon. Although he's kind of been here longer than that. It would be, God, when did we buy him? I think we bought him in May, something like that. So that would be May 20. May 2020, I suppose. God, how time flies. That was a day as well, going to get him. Bloody hell. Well, going to get him was fine. I drove. Driving back was I mean, thank God I wasn't in the car with her. She must have been mad. Where did I get to? Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile used to live in a camper van. Just saying, says Cheeseburger. I had 4 motorhomes, says Jimmy Quinn, and I'm looking for my 5th. Oh, the bridge has reopened in Barmouth, Neil. Thank you for that. Bad Book says Savile had a camper conversion. Range Rover Mark 1 back converted to a bed with a small sink. Yeah. Cheeseburger says, BB, he used to park a proper camper at Shepherd's Bush TV Centre as well, where Top of the Pops was filmed. Yeah. Jimmy Savile. Dan says, Jimmy, I've had a Ford Transit motorhome and a Citroen C15 Roma home motorhome, but I prefer the Transit myself. Jimmy had a Toyota motorhome and 3 Hymers. Oh, I like a Hymer. And Dan says motorhome's value has shot up in recent years. Yeah, since pandemic went through the roof. I would love one. I would love a little. I would love. I would love a little camper. Not a massive one, but then not a teeny tiny one either, because I wouldn't fit in a teeny tiny one. Sheeson came with everything, says Cheeseburger. Keys, service history, V5, and Mr. Boaty's pottering lube in the glove box. Oh dear. Badbook says, horrible, Cheeseburger. He parked the Rolls Royce there too. Bob's Classics had the Savile Rolls Royce for sale for ages, and it disappeared after he died. Oh dear. Cheeseburger says, Jimmy, Lodge guys have just converted a long wheelbase VW Crafter Good YouTube series. I do watch a couple of camper video. Well, I watched the one with the two girls. What's that called? Camper Vibe. I like them. The two girls. They're good. Oh, hello. It's 11 o'clock. Shall I risk a? Shall I risk one? Hair of the dog. Go on. Let's risk one. What the hell? What is the worst that could happen? I ask you. Oh hell. Oh, I'd better. Better put some ice in. Running low. And then there was another camper one that I watched for a while, the Explorers. But I only watched that because they really, really annoyed me. And for some reason, I enjoyed being that annoyed. And then I kind of got busier, and being annoyed didn't seem worthwhile, so I stopped watching it. Now, this is either going to kill or cure, isn't it? Not sure which. We'll see. Oh, I've not got any. Oh, God. Oh, okay. Oh, dear me. I must have got through a bit of tonic last night as well. I haven't got any of the big ones left. I only got these little mini ones. Oh, well. We'll do the trick, won't it? Cheers, darlings. You're very good health. Don't know if I can face it. Oh dear. I'll just leave that there to get its shit together. You got to pay 30 grand plus for a good motorhome, says Jimmy. And Dan says, yep, unless you find a bargain that needs a little work, but I would rather invest in other things, hence why I sold mine. It's wine o'clock, says Trace. Yeah, I'm going to go with the, well, it's booze o'clock, let's put it that way. Cheeseburger heard that Savills Rolls Royce was crushed. Oh, that's a shame. I'd have had that. And then Cheeseburger, has anyone heard from Mike, Classic Cars Wales? I haven't for a while. I don't know if anybody else has. Cheers. Oh. Oof. Oh, there we are. We'll see how that goes down. It was good to see Simon this afternoon as well, says Cheeseburger. It was indeed. Jimmy says, my son just got a Ford Hobby with a big garage. Lovely motorhome. Ooh. Mark says, Mark Passad. Evening, Boaty, and all here. Question. Where can I get industrial-sized bags of Momo and chutney? Me, Mark, basically, me. I can sell you any amount that you would like of both homemade Momo and homemade chutney. Literally any amount that you like. Industrial sized is fine. I'm not reading that one out. Ooh. I have a client, says Cheeseburger, which makes him sound a bit like a prostitute, doesn't it? I'll read on. I have a client that converts T6 VW vans into motorhomes on a medium scale production. He isn't struggling. Oh my God, wine o'clock has become vodka o'clock. Lol, says Trace. I'm not reading that one out. Skick says, would you really think of moving out of that house and into the flat you are on about? Yeah, I would, potentially. I would. And there are a couple of reasons why I would. I mean, it wouldn't be an easy decision because I love it here so much. Um, there's a lot more room in the flat because, okay, we call it a flat, but it's bigger than most houses. I mean, it is truly, truly enormous. So it's an incredible amount of space. So I could have, oh God, I mean, you name it, I could have it. I mean, anything, any boy's dreams that you think of, I could have. I could have a dining room, a breakfast room, a games room. I could have a train set room. Um, I could. There's just so much space, but also I would have more security there. I mean, bear in mind that touch wood and everything. This place is privately rented, and as much as Chris is wonderful, and we get on absolutely fine, and he's the best landlord that you could wish for, and we've kind of got a gentleman's agreement that this will just be, ongoing ad infinitum. You never know what's going to happen. His circumstances could change. He could decide to sell it. He could, I mean, he's no youngster. He could pop his clogs, bless him, and his kids or whoever deals with his do it. They could decide that they didn't want it. He could sell it. So when you rent privately, you've always got a bit of a sword of Damocles hanging over your head. And the flat being on a full commercial lease, um, along with the restaurant, that would effectively, I would be safe for life there. My ideal scenario, though, Skick, would be to Airbnb the flat, have a suite in the flat as a base for myself, because if I'm Airbnbing it, I would need to be there, but have this place as well for as long as I possibly can. But yeah, I would potentially consider just moving in there instead of here. I mean, it's a town centre location, so you'd miss out, so you'd miss out on all of that. Although it's flat, it's if you've seen the pictures, Skick, I put them in the Facebook group, you'll see that it is interesting. It has got age to it, and it's got a lot of period features, and it's got wonderful high ceilings, and it's a very interesting layout. I mean, all of that space would be quite enticing there because there would just be. I mean, there's so much that I could do, so much that I could do there, and that would be quite exciting, and it would be quite cost effective because it would be thrown in on the restaurant lease, and but we'll see what happens. Mark says, I follow some YouTube caravanners and motorhomers and cannot compute how they can afford a 30k van or a 65k motorhome every few years. So much for a cost of living crisis. Well, it's probably because they've got YouTube channels, Mark. I mean, if you've got a reasonably sized YouTube channel and you're making £500,000 a year from it, then buying a 30k motorhome isn't going to be a problem, is it? Don't underestimate what you can make from YouTube and the associated things once you get to a certain size. Obviously, it's a million miles away from anything that me or my compatriots are doing. But, once you get up to, well, once you start getting over the 100,000 subs, and if you're smart and cute with it, you can make good money. A pottering room. Yeah. I could have a dungeon. I could have a dungeon cheeseburger. Cheeseburger says, Boaty, if your AST, whatever that is, has expired, then 1 month's notice to evict. A full lease will only give you protection beyond lease expiry if it isn't contracted out of Landlord and Tenant Act 1954. No, I don't know. Mark says, being right above the restaurant would transform your life, but where would the fleet go? Well, Mark, the fleet would go on a stretch of road just down from the restaurant where there is free public parking. Now, it's on the side of the road, but it's actual specific parking spaces. It's a big wide road. And then on either side of the road, there are sections to the edge of the road that are white lined off, and they are for parking, and there's unrestricted parking there. And there's probably space there for about 100 cars, probably 100 cars. And I've never seen more than 3 or 4 actually parked there. So if I was at the flat, I could actually have a much bigger fleet because I would have a lot more room to play with. I could expand the fleet massively, and that would be another plus. And that road goes underneath the dual carriageway, underneath the bypass. So there's a section on both sides of the road that's effectively undercover. So Mingebag and Wet Leg could go there and they wouldn't get all wet and snowed on in the winter. And now we're having a lot more motorhome chat. I mean, I'd love a motor. I would just like a humble camper van. I did own one once, I took one in part exchange when I was at the showroom. A 1984 Renault Traffic, the small one, with a 1400cc engine. Talk about underpowered. And I thought, oh, that would be cool. I'll keep that. And I kept it for about 8 months and didn't use it once. So I sold it. I wish I had it now. But then, as I say, realistically, would I get the use from one? But if I had a smallish, cheapish one, then I'd go away on a Monday night. Every Monday, I would get up, go somewhere, stay out overnight, van camping, and come back on Tuesday, and I'd enjoy that. If I was a smaller person, I'd do one of those conversions. I'd get something like a Ford Galaxy or something and turn that into whatever they call it, a mini camper. But I'm just too big. I'm 6'5". But yeah, something like a transit size would be lovely. I would love that. 100 car fleet, says Bad Books. I could have it there. An 840 BMW must be near or over 30k. Bloody hell, for an 840. They're not worth that, are they? God, the last time I bought an 840, well, actually it was an 850, it was about 4 grand, and it was a nice one. Mark says, so if you can keep the fleet, move to that lovely flat and walk down the stairs to work, what is there to think about anymore? Or am I missing something? No, you're probably not. The thing is, the flat isn't a definite yet. I mean, we are in negotiations, but I mean, it kind of would make sense, wouldn't it? No problems with neighbours because it's effectively detached. And all of that fabulous space. I mean, just so much space. I could have a train set and I could have a lovely big dining room with a massive table. I do miss a dining room. I love a dining room. And I don't know, that loft is an amazing space. You've got like the flat is on it's on a split level. So part of it is on this level, part of it's on that level. But then you've got another set of stairs that go up to the top lofty bit, which covers the whole area of the flat. It's enormous. I mean, the loft could easily be a large flat all on its own. So that would be an amazing space to do something with. I don't know what, but it'd be an amazing space to do something with. Um, Even if I live, God, I suppose I could turn that into an Airbnb. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there are loads of possibilities, but job one is to get it on the books. And then if it can happen, then I'll have a proper look around and film it so I can take you guys with me. And we'll put our heads together and think about what's best to do. Should I just move there personally, or should I run it as an Airbnb business, or a combination of the both? We'll have a proper look and we'll see. It does need some love. It does need some love, and it does need some money. But yeah, wonderful period features, wonderful high ceilings, fireplaces in pretty much every room. So if they're still operative or able to be made operative, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Imagine having a log burner in your bedroom. That would be fabulous. Oh, what a lovely feature. Get a jacuzzi in there. Oh, I'm getting quite excited about it now. And there'd certainly be load of room for guests. I mean, here, this isn't a tiny cottage. It's a row of 5 cottages here, as you know, and this is the biggest one. I think it was originally 2 cottages that was knocked into one at some point, but it's still effectively it's a 2 up, 2 down. I mean, I've got the kitchen diner, whatever you want to call it. I've got the front parlor, and then upstairs there are 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. So the other bedroom is the guest suite, stroke my little officey workspace. So you're not blessed with much room, but so there's kind of not much room to maneuver. But I've got a beautiful garden that I pay a lot of money to gardeners for and never go in it. So would I miss that? Honestly, no. I mean, I love knowing that it's there, but I very seldom actually go into it. Um, so, God, the more I'm just talking myself into moving into the flat. Now, if I wanted it on a personal basis, I could make that happen. Um, I could just say, I could just cut a deal directly with the landlord on a personal basis and make that happen. Maybe I should think about doing that. I tell you what. I tell you what. How about the landlord's son, or who is now the landlord, said to Bish, the keys are with the letting agent. Go and grab the key if you want to have a look around. So how about one day this week, um, tomorrow or Wednesday? How about I arrange it, go to work a bit early, get the key, and we have a proper look around it. And I'll film it all, obviously, so that you guys can all see it, and then we'll have a chat on a live stream and see what you think. What do you lot think that I should do? Should I make it happen just for me personally? I mean, it'd be a big old space for one person, but space means opportunity, doesn't it? Let's do that. That would be fun. That'll make a good video. uh, oh, Hornby 00. I don't know. I'm not a nerd when it comes to train sets. I would like to be a nerd, and I could very easily become a nerd, but I'm not one yet. So I'm not really familiar with all the different gauges and everything. But you know, I mean, every kid and men are just big kids. I mean, imagine having a massive room where you could just have a huge model railway layout. Oh, and it's quite an enticing thought, isn't it? Or even a small room with a model railway layout. Or maybe I'll get bored of it. But I love the idea of not having the neighbours and having big old rooms and being able to do live streams with super loud. I mean, I could have a disco in there and nobody would hear it. You're just away from everybody and everything. Yeah, might be quite cool. Flat, plenty of hearth to be poked. Oh, God. Oh, got a headache kicking in there. Skick says a hidden message. He has a bit, Skick. Yeah, he has a bit. It's not so much fun being here anymore, knowing that somebody isn't happy with you and your lifestyle. It does take the edge off a little bit, I must admit. Whereas in the flat, I'd be well away from everybody. Weirdly, I mean, you'd think that being relatively remote here, it's here where I'd be well aware, but no, I wouldn't in the flat. Nobody would bother me and I wouldn't bother anybody else. And there's an excellent brothel just over the road. uh, Big cottage, says Cheeseburger in disbelief. Mustard couldn't swing his cock around in it. Guest, says Mark. You could do a subscriber competition once or twice a year to join you. Um, Eat at the restaurant and drive around the beautiful moors. That's exactly the sort of thing that I would love to do, Mark. That is exactly the sort of thing that I would love to do. I mean, I would do it here, but it's all a bit too close. And you're a bit too much on top of each other. Now, if it's somebody that you know and you're really friendly with, like if it was Neil and Sophie or Joe or Mustard or anybody like that, I'd have them here in a heartbeat, no problem at all. They'd be more than welcome to the guest suite, such as it is. They'd be more than welcome to that, and it wouldn't be a problem, living in that combined space. Whereas in the flat, I mean, in the flat, then guests could effectively be self-contained. I mean, there are two bathrooms, so you wouldn't have to share a bathroom. They could have, yeah, it'd be amazing for guests, and that would, yeah, that would bring about possibilities for the channel. Because if I started tying in the restaurant more and more, and then I had that flat in there as well, that would create a lot of opportunities for that sort of thing, Mark. So that's actually a really good shout. How attached are you to Windy Bum, says Trace? That's probably the biggest hurdle for you. Yeah, it would be. And I'm kind of very attached. Although Skick did kind of hit the nail on the head. The bit of nonsense with Nick next door has taken the edge off a bit. And there's always that thing now at the back of your mind that you worry about noise and you worry about the cars. And I wouldn't have any of that at the flat. but I am, I am very attached to it. As I say, in an ideal world scenario would be that I made money from the flat and had this as a weekend place to escape to, when the noise wouldn't be an issue and the cars wouldn't be parked here, they'd all be parked at Ripley, and I could. But then I don't know. How attached am I to it? Good question. I don't know. At the moment, I don't know. If I was really excited by the flat, then it it possibly wouldn't be the biggest hurdle to leave here, maybe. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, things change, don't they? We move on. I've been here for 8 years, I think. It's either 7 years coming up 8, or it's 8 years coming up 9. And I've had a wonderful time here. I've got a lot of memories. Um, I've got a lot of memories, and memories with people as well. Originally, Mrs. Boaty loved it here, and even though we were divorced and I'd moved and I was here, we had a thing going for some while, and she loved it here, and there are some good memories there. And I had a whole beginning, middle, and end of a relationship with Boo, Bernard, Chinese Madam, and the more occasional visitors. Ah, but things tend to be cyclical. I've had a fantastic time here. I don't think it's impossible that that I could be so excited about a new thing that I could look at this and say, yeah, it was wonderful. But I would like to do that out of choice. I would love to have a situation where, as I say, if I was doing Airbnb at the flat and that was making money and I could keep this place for a while anyway, as a weekend stroke escape place, and see how that went. And, maybe life would take off at the new place and I wouldn't use this and I'd think it's pointless, let it go. Or maybe I would love it as a place to. I don't know. I don't know. maybe maybe I think I'm more, or maybe I have thought I'm more attached to it because it represented my little safe space. I don't know. That's a really interesting one. I'll think about that. I will get the key to the flat and I will walk you about it, and let's see what we all think about what would be. Mark says Cheeseburger, I would want a lock on the guest suite. You can have a lock. You'd be safe, Cheeseburger. Don't flatter yourself. Also says Trace, is the flat above the restaurant cheaper in terms of rent? Well, again, good question, Trace. Theoretically, no. Theoretically, they are asking more for it than here. Bear in mind that although the rent has just increased, I got this place really very cheaply for what it is and where it is. Partly because of the haunting issue, partly because, and there are other downsides to it. Although you're quite rural, quite removed, you are right next to a main road, and that is quite noisy. That would put some people off. Although I think if you're going to live around here, be as close to the main road as possible, because it means that you can escape when the weather is really bad. Also, you've got the garden situation, that you haven't got an enclosed garden. So if you've got pets, if you've got a dog, You couldn't let the dog out the back because it's open plan, it's not enclosed. You've got the shared lane, which effectively goes through the middle of your thing. I've got the yard outside the back door. Then there's the shared lane, which is access for all. And then there's the garden behind that. Um, so, there are a lot of quirks. And I, considering what property goes for, and certainly in terms of private rentals, this place is, I think, really quite cheap. Whereas the flat is so huge. So at the moment, in theory, with the current rent for this place, the asking price for the flat is 150. It's £175 per month more as things stand. But bear in mind that council tax would probably be cheaper, I would imagine. Council tax is very high here because of the area. But I imagine that flat would cost a fortune to heat because it's huge, it's got high ceilings. I would imagine that heating would cost a fortune, but then you could go old school with it. If the fireplaces are still operative, you could have an open fire or a wood burning stove and close the doors and have warm rooms rather than warming the whole of the flat. But in terms of the cost, then if we do it through the company, then obviously we're going to screw the rent right down and throw it in on the commercial lease. So I would imagine that if the company takes it on, I would imagine that the rent would then become the same as here or probably less. That's what we'd be looking for anyway. And again, if the company takes it on, then in terms of what I actually pay, then Vishnu would be very, very happy for me to be up there because it ties me to the company in a way. If my home is part of the company, then I'm tied to the company. And they still think that at some point my YouTube channel is going to take off to the extent where I simply leave, and they really, really, really don't want that. They really don't want that. So anything that they can do to tie me in, they will do for the nicest reasons. Bless them, for the loveliest of reasons. Oh, this bloody headache's really starting to kick in. I might just take a couple of pills just to. I had some first thing this morning, and then I haven't had any more. But headache and toothache is kicking in. Fucking ironic, isn't it? Tooth falls out in the morning, but you still got toothache at night. I have chronic toothache now all the time. To be honest, it's at best it's mild discomfort. At worst, it's sheer bloody agony. But it's always there. I'll be glad when the bloody lot fall out. I wouldn't really. That's just one of those things that you say. But again, wouldn't it be nice to have the money to just get implants done, sorted, job done, forget about it for 10 or 12 years, and for the first time in my life have a proper nice smile? That would be lovely. Oh, and I need to go to the doctors and get this thing chopped off as well, find out what the hell it is and get rid of that as well. It's becoming very unsightly and it's annoying me. Should have done it years ago. Very, very stupid to ignore it the way that I have. Of course, the flat, talking about the flat and the restaurant, back in the day, it's quite an old building, and back in the day it was a pub. And I would imagine that upstairs would have been accommodation for the landlords, but also pub type B&B. which is probably why it's kind of the size and layout that it is. And that's quite interesting, isn't it? Quite a nice bit of history. And it's kind of perfect because you've got again, you'll have seen this from the pictures if you look at the pictures in the Facebook group. You've got your own front door, proper entrance, street level front door, with so you walk in through that, and you've got like a porch area where you could have shoes and coats and all of that, and then the stairs going up. But you've also got at the back of that porch area, you've got a door that goes directly into the restaurant. Now, obviously, since since Naz ceased having the restaurant, that door has been permanently locked and it's got stuff in front of it. But it's not a problem to unlock that door, and then I don't even have to go outside to get down to the restaurant. That would be quite a blessing, and it would be useful for them to have me there on tap 24/7, I suppose, and I would obviously save money in fuel, all of that sort of thing. And I don't mind living above the shop. I lived above the shop before when I had the car showrooms. Cheesy, you know this. And I had that amazing 5-bedroom flat up above the showrooms, and that was fantastic. Again, a very old building, and again a massive flat, high ceilings, loads and loads of space. That was brilliant. God, it had this beautiful, massive bathroom with a huge jacuzzi bath that, oh God, Mrs. Boaty and I had a lot of fun in there. So I don't mind living above the shop. Either Hornby 00 or a super scale electric. I would love a super scale electric. Yeah, I've never had one. My mate, when I was a kid, had one up in his loft. And that was quite amazing. That would be quite a cool. I mean, I could have the equivalent of my old Boaty's hub at the house, where had all sorts in there. Had fruit machines. Yeah. You could do all sorts of things with it. That level of space is just so many possibilities. So, from Trace. So, price stroke rent, attachment to neighbours, drive to work, cost in savings of homework travel. Gosh. Yeah. So, okay. So, we've covered the rent. Would be a bit more in theory. If you go through the restaurant, through the company, probably be the same or less. Attachment to neighbours, well, there is none in the flat. Drive to work, 0. Cost in savings of homework travel. Good question. How much would I save? Well, Mustard put in the directions to the restaurant today, and it was 17 miles. So that's 34 miles a day, 6 days a week. So my head's aching too badly to work that out. But 34 miles, 6 days a week, 6 times 34, 6 threes are 180. So that's 204 miles per week. So 204 miles a week I would save. What would that save me in terms of money? Probably quite a bit, really, wouldn't it? And all the money I saved, I could spend at the brothel over the road. Oh, I didn't go down. Oh, hold on. It's fishy. There we go. I don't know. Popping pills on a live stream, that's not a good look, is it? Oh my God, what have I missed? Says Carlos Fandango's super wide wheels. A load of old bollocks. I've just got home. I'm fisted apart. Good man, Carlos. Yes, that's it, Boaty, says Trace. You're not in love with the flat above the restaurant, but, in capital letters, it has possibilities. And, in capital letters, you are now in a cottage that you love and are attached to with memories, etc. Keep pondering. Glad you will keep thinking. No. I can't be asked to read back, says Carlos. Cheesy, summarise it for me. Boat it would be a new chapter for you, says Skit. And yeah, that's a good comment. And that's a very good point. It would be a new chapter. And amazingly, at my age, you don't expect new chapters, but it kind of would be, wouldn't it? And yeah, it would be me morphing from the hermit cottage guy into a super dynamic restaurant manager and YouTuber and all of that. I mean, I can see many ways that it would be really, really good. And you kind of get excited by that sort of thing, don't you? I wouldn't see it as, I always thought that if I left here, then wherever I went to would be likely I would view it as a downward thing. And moving into the flat, I wouldn't see that as a downward thing. It's, I can imagine that flat could be amazing with a little bit of time and a few quid and a bit of ingenuity. And I love dressing homes and I love doing it on the cheap. Even when I had money, I like doing it on the cheap. I love, browsing these secondhand shops, browsing Facebook Marketplace now and eBay and finding bargains like this table, this dining suite, all of that sort of thing. Well, there'd be so much fun to be had with that sort of thing in the flat. I mean, I can imagine it would take a year to get it even to begin to be sorted because it's so big. But wouldn't that be fabulous? I'd love that. And deciding what to do with each room. I'd love to do it with you guys as well. It would be like a joint adventure. And if we all kind of did it together, because you lot have some fabulous ideas, I will get the key this week and we will walk around it together and we will talk about it. Relations with neighbours are so important, says Mark. And as someone who has dealt with both good and bad stroke problematic, I know what makes me happier. A secure place, close to work and with no other neighbours. Yeah, it's a good point. A message held for review. Carlos, he had virtual sex with Boo at 2 o'clock this morning, got smashed on vodka and didn't wake up till lunchtime. Didn't have virtual sex at all. And then Carlos says, Cheesy, does that mean he's all melancholy about some bird called Boo? No, I'm not. Some bird called Boo. Oh, and Cheeseburger confirms, Carlos, no. And he hasn't brought up cycling either. Don't forget to hit like, says Trace. 11 of you have hit that like button, and there are 25 of you watching right now. So, can we get the likes up to? And my lovely video on Stigbert going to, that's had dislikes. That's brought my percentage down. Oh, John. Message from John. Here we go. Right. I won't read it previously. I'll just read it out to you. Hi, Jason. Hope you're well, mate. Where do I start? I went to hospital today for the operation. I had 2 TIAs on the operating table and a seizure, and was told by my consultant I died for about 6 minutes. They brought me back, but it's really knocked me about. I feel sick, tired, and generally unwell. I thought my days were over, so I'm still in hospital on monitors and meds. John. Well, he's still with us. That's a positive. And God, 2 TIAs, anesthesia, and dead for 6 minutes. Christ above. But he's with us. And let's hope that in terms of removing the clot, the operation was a success. Although, bloody hell, touch and go by the sound of it. Christ. So, John, thank you for the update. I'm guessing that you're probably not watching the live stream. You've just pinged me, but there we are. No doubt he'll tune into the live stream at some point, so you can leave messages for him, and I might screenshot them and send them to him by messenger so he sees them straight away. Oh, I've gone back in comments a million miles ago. Hold on. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit like. Oh, somebody else has done it. I've got 12 now, but there are 27 of you watching. So could I have 27 likes, please? If you haven't hit the like button, please give it a gentle but loving swipe. I'd be most grateful. Carlos. Cheeseburger. Fucking hell. Maybe he's actually okay. Hasn't mentioned cycling, hasn't mentioned Boo. Perhaps he's being a normal person today. What gives? Oh, 16. 16 likes. This is marvelous. Thank you, everybody. 16. That's getting. And 28 people watching. 28. So can I have 28 likes, please? Get my percentage back up. I'd like to get back to 99% of likes, even though I don't deserve it. $18. That's good. Thank you very much, everybody. Keep going. Hit that like button. These days, logs or coal cost a fortune. Open fires are a mug's game and a lot of work. Says Mark. Bad books. Probably true. Right, yeah. I mean, the last time that I dealt with coal was at the cottage in Wales, and I got it cheap because my grandfather worked for the NCB. So part of the pension thing was cheap coal forever. Toothache, probably exposing the sensitive bits under the gum line. I have exactly this. So after brushing, rub on some Sensodyne without rinsing after. Oh, good tip. Thank you, Trace. I'll try that. Probably a function room on the uppers as well back in the day. Yes, Cheeseburger, there probably was. Oh, I've got to show you around it. I mean, I haven't been around it properly. When Naz was living there, I went up and helped him with some bits. When the most recent people were up there, I helped them carry some stuff up, and but I haven't had a proper nosy round. So we will do that this week. And you lot can advise me because the collective wisdom of us all is much greater than my lack of wisdom. Would you not take a lodger in Boaty, Skick? Well, yeah, the Airbnb thing was my initial thought, Skick. I wouldn't want a lodger, as in a permanent full-time lodger, but I like the Airbnb idea. Bad Book says, Tracy, vodka and tonic on ice must have been numbing the toothache already. Mark says some of the best places we've stayed in over 35 years have been pubs with a few rooms above, guaranteed table for dinner, staying until closing time, and then going upstairs to sleep. Bliss. Uh, yeah, that's the that would be the Airbnb idea. Bad Book says, Skick, he'd Podger the lodger. Good idea. Vodka. Okay, I've changed the microphone. Sound? Anybody? Oh, I'm back. Apparently, we hear you. Don't know what happened there. The microphone was still showing a green light, indicating that it was on. No idea what happened there. Maybe it was an internet thing. I don't know. But I'm back anyway, so that's good. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, what have I done there? Oh no. Ah, there we are. Right, let's go back to the comments. Oh, look at the time. I was only going to do an hour. And we're 2 hours in. My goodness me. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? Oh, that's a bit strong. Oh, you lost me just after Podger the lodger. Okay. Right, let's go back to the comments and whiz through these. Lodger. Yeah, there we are. There we are. Skick's ideal fantasy tenant, would be Susan Boyle. Gosh. Well, that's nice. I'd quite like. Oh, I tell you what. I told you I popped into singles, which I don't do these days. I mean, in theory, I run it, but there's nothing there to run, really, because there's nobody's active in it. Although maybe that's because I'm not in there running it. It used to be active when I was. But I did go in today and popped a couple of posts up. And one of the people who replied to my post was a jolly attractive lady. So I'll start with her as my first fantasy tenant. Thank you very much. And yes, I would. Oh, 29 of you watching, 21 likes. That's good. God, I've gone from hangover and headaches, and now I've got vodka hiccups. Dear me. What I really need to do is to just have something to eat and go to bed. And hopefully all will be back to normal tomorrow. It's been a mad day. Mad day. Enjoyable though. I have enjoyed it. Oh dear. Old before your time, Boaty. You're only in your 50s, says Skick. Yeah, well, Cheeseburger is going for Leslie Ash from the Men Behaving Badly days as his fantasy tenant. Oh, God. Oh, well, that's bringing up some ideas now. What about that bird from the secretary PA bird from the Dennis Waterman thing? What was it called? On the Up. On the Up. Her. The one who did the theme tune to Red Dwarf. She'd do. Oh, Podger the Lodger. This is going to run and run. Oh. Trying to think now. See, this is the arrogance of an old, fat, toothless, ugly man. When it comes to fantasy pottering, I'm thinking about people that are real and in my real life rather than celebrities. Because back in the day, then, you were in with a chance. I should accept that it's an entirely virtual thing. So, oh, Cameron Diaz says Skick. I do love that flat above the restaurant, says Trace. That's period features, big rooms. It's in civilization and away from big roads. I see the potential. Oh, and now we're into the Johns. Oh my God, John, Holy Lord John, all the best. Got loads of good points and talent. You, Boaty? Oh, that's very kind, Skick. Thank you. Maybe a new chapter is the way you can start putting these things more into play. You might be right. Thank you, John, for the update, says Trace. You're still here and we're all thinking of and for you, indeed. Get well soon, John, says Jimmy. Night all, I'm off to bed, says Dan Peter. Thanks for the live. You're welcome. Keep fighting, John, says Cheeseburger. Let's hope the clot is gone. Thoughts and prayers with you, mate. Absolutely, I second that. Best wishes, John, from Barry. People are saying good night to Dan. Cheeseburger has hit the like button. I've got 27 watching. I've got 21 likes. 19 likes, says Bad Books. We've moved on from that. Barry's got to head out to half an hour. Well, it's that time where we all should go, really, isn't it? 30 people watching as I look now, says Trace. Coal is about £400 a ton. Might be more, says Bad Books. 32 watching at the time of me posting, says Trace. Blimey. Cheeseburger says, Trace, if you run out of Sensodyne, you can use Mr. Boaty's pottering lube. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm not reading that one out, Cheeseburger. Oh, and then everybody's telling me that I've got no sound. And then I'm back. Video title, Got a Hangover? Podger the Lodger. Okay, and I think, darlings, we've just hit midnight, and I think that is about it. So, thank you so much for bearing with me and my insane hangover tonight. It's actually been nothing less than a joy. I've really enjoyed it. I can't think of anything better to do when you've got a raving hangover than share it with you guys. And very best wishes to John, and he will no doubt catch up with the comments, and he will see that we've all been thinking about him. Thank you to you all for giving me your time, and thank you for your insights on the flat thing as well. Between you, you've all made me think again a lot more seriously. I'm going to get the key. I'm going to have a look around. I'll show you guys, and maybe I should really push it as just a personal thing, not doing it through the company. Maybe. We'll get the key. We'll have a look. Great live. It's a miracle. Night all, and bless John. Good night, Cheeseburger. Have a good day tomorrow, mate, and have a safe and peaceful night. And that goes to all of you. Do please have a safe and peaceful night. Try not to have a hangover. Great live and chat, says Trace. It's been lovely tonight, hasn't it? It's been absolutely lovely. I need to cobble together something to eat, and I am going to get upstairs at a reasonable time. Everything's a bit chaotic, but I can deal with that tomorrow. And it's not been a bad day. I mean, we bought a nice new car, saved a nice new car, and it is a nice car. Well, it will be a nice car. Well, it could be a nice car. Typically, if we're over 25, it drives superbly, a load better than it looks. Doesn't look that bad. There'll be a video out on that tomorrow. Barney is here. Barney is back, and Barney has crept into my heart in quite a big way. I remember the first time I bothered him for a few days. Oh, Jimmy, thank you so much. That's really kind of you. Bit of a super sticker there from Jimmy, £1.99. Thank you very much. I'm your daddy, says hello, fellas. Carlos Fandango is going for Samantha Janus, and you can make your own rhymes about that. Samantha, no, don't go there. Don't go there. I had a really vivid dream the other morning. I think I mentioned it on a video, but I was in the cottage in Wales, and it was during my separation from Mrs. Boaty, and she came to visit, as she often did during that time, and I spanked her with a wooden kitchen spatula. It was ever so vivid, and I should have spanked her more often, really. Maybe the marriage would have worked out better. She enjoyed it. Anyway, that's the main thing. She enjoyed it when I did it in real life as well, not just in a dream. Oh God, that's brought back a memory. Oh dear. What was I saying? I can't remember. I can't remember. So, thank you so much for. Oh yeah, I was talking about Barney being back here. That's good. And Sheeson's at the restaurant, so I've got a contingency card there. It's been. I've had fun with Captain Mustard. We've had a lot of laughs. We had a nice lunch together. It's been a great day, and I've finished it with you, and that's made it just all the better. So, good night, my lovelies. Thank you so much for your company. Please have a safe and peaceful night. John, we are all, stay strong, mate. We're all here with you. And have the best day that you can tomorrow. Oh, Jimmy, God bless you. Oh, a super chat as well. That is exceedingly kind, and I am exceptionally grateful. I think I woke up cheeseburger, so I don't know if I washed it afterwards, but I wouldn't. I mean, Mrs. Boaty had remarkably clean buttocks. She was that sort of lady. You wouldn't want to, you would neither want nor need to wash it. It was a great dream. All right, darlings. Have a great day tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow night, 11 o'clock, Tuesday Night Live. Please do join me. It wouldn't be the same without you. Much love to you all. Thank you again, and a very good night. I'll just wave to you there.